Hi, welcome to Chad's Silversmithing. First off, thanks for visiting. I appreciate you coming. If you wouldn't mind, it helps the algorithm in getting my YouTube channel promoted if you hit the like button or if you leave a comment for me. I appreciate both of those things. So do that before you leave if you don't mind. Topic today, I think, is going to be making an infinity ring, something I've seen over the years but I've never really done myself. I thought I'd put my own spin on it and I would use a little bit of twisted wire in a different way, and we'll see how it comes out. Before we do that though, I wanted to thank some people. My YouTube subscribers just passed 3,400, which is amazing. Thank you all for all the really nice comments and the suggestions, and thanks for subscribing. I also want to thank my Patreon people who are paying for premium content over on Patreon, where I provide them exclusive tutorials, more interactive kind of an environment where we can discuss things. So if you're interested in that, maybe you should check the video description down below where I have a link to that. I also have a link to buy me a coffee where you can tip me if you like the content here, my website, and even a merch store. So check those out in the video description. Let's get started on the project. Okay, for this project, we're going to need two things, I think, mainly. I'm going to use some 20 gauge sterling silver wire that is going to be twisted twice. So I'll twist it once and then I'll fold it back on itself and twist it again. And it produces kind of a cool, almost a triangular aspect to it that has an interesting pattern that I'm going to incorporate into the ring to be the infinity symbol on this one. So we'll give that a shot in a minute, but let's look at my basic design here. If you're interested in one of these little books, I find it handy to sketch out designs. They're available in my merch store. There's actually two different designs. So this is kind of what I was thinking for this one. I measured it out to about a size 8 from this for this length here. I think I'm going to use this twisted wire here like this into an infinity symbol, and then we'll feed these through that symbol like that. And this is going to be the 14 gauge round wire. So first, I think let us go make that 20 gauge twisted wire. So we'll do that next. Okay, so I've taken some annealed 20 gauge wire here, and I've chucked it right into the end of the drill with the looped on the end here. I'm going to hook it over a nail. Oops, let me pound that in a little bit. Okay, and then I'm just going to run the drill. I have it on reverse actually, but you can do it either way. I want to keep it taut enough to where it doesn't get any irregularities as it twists. But not so taut that you break the wire before it's twisted pretty tightly. That's probably pretty good. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off. And then I'm going to take this over, and it's work hardened from doing that, so I'm going to anneal it again. Okay, I've annealed it, and I grabbed it with my vice grips again. And if your twist is pointing up to the right, you're going to twist it to the right. If it's pointing up to the left, you're going to twist it to the left. And I'm going to do it kind of slowly so I can kind of keep track of what's going on, because we're going to twist it until it achieves kind of a triangular state. And it takes a while to get there. It'll start to look like a kind of a single twisted helix sort of thing. But then it starts to become sort of, if you can get all of the sides to line up flat, it's got a triangular profile. And one of the sides I think looks really cool. And so that's what we're going to use for our infinity ring. Getting sort of close there. You start to see the little loops on it start to line up a little bit better. Okay, so here's a piece that I chopped out of the overall length of it that was the most consistent. I actually had to back, I went a little bit too far when I was twisting it, so I had to back it up manually so that the sides all kind of facing in the same direction. So, and that's what we'll use as our infinity symbol. So I think though, to prevent it from unraveling it all in any way, I'm going to solder a little bit on either end here just to make sure it stays intact. As always, I'm using hard silver sheet solder, and I use a spray-on flux called My-T-Flux. I grabbed the crummy squirt bottle again this time. Alright, we'll just get this thing hot, and then we'll pick a little bit of solder to either end. And there's one side on here that looks more consistent than the other, so I'm going to use that side up. Like I said, it's kind of like almost triangular aspect. It's got this side, and this side. So I'm going to put the side that looks the most consistent up. In order to do that, I'm going to put it down on the table so I can keep it kind of flat. Let's start just kind of rounding this around. Use this to start maybe. Maybe I'll just use my hands. Or my pliers. I'll keep it kind of in the size range that I have here. This is pretty big still. So I'm going to try and tighten it up just a little bit. That's starting to be a little closer to what I'm looking for. So, I think this thing has a little bit of, like I said, a triangular aspect, so I'm going to cut this at an angle. You could use your saw if you wanted to. I'm just going to do it like this to start with. Bend it up, and then I'm going to file that a little bit flat. This one, it's kind of slopes that. Same deal, file it so it's got that smoother angle. So right now I'm looking at it from this side, but when I go to solder it, the side that's going to be up is going to be this side here, so I want to make sure that looks pretty good. Adjust them how they need to be in order to get it to look pretty symmetrical. I think I can fine-tune the curves a little bit after I get this soldered together, but let's try it with this solder. water here, so I'll just flux it, and then we'll use what's there already. So it's going to eventually, on the band, it's going to kind of be curved like this. So I'm going to start kind of shaping it a bit that way. With the flat side towards the top here. Okay. Try and correct any kind of irregularities you might see right now. Okay. I always see them after I'm almost done, and it's too late to correct them. So let's do it like that and see how that goes. Looks like a mask. Alright, so here's a 14 gauge round. Let's cut them a little bit longer than this, because when I bend these outwards, because it swirls out a little bit on either side, it's going to take away a little of the length. Words are not coming easy to me today, apparently. Okay, so like I said, cut it a little bit long. File the ends for it a little bit on both of them. Well, I got the surprisingly exact on the length. It doesn't usually happen. Okay. Let's see this here. 35 is half 70, I think. Right? Okay. I think to make that little curve that kind of dips out, I'm going to curve it and then bend it back so that it kind of makes the curve a little bit shallower. But just to use this thing, I think that's probably about right. So let's line that up on that center point, or on the narrower side of this. This is called a bail making pliers if you've never seen it before. Pretty useful, so it's worth getting one. I don't know what size this one is, but it'd probably be handy to have a whole bunch of various sizes. I do have one that's got multiple sizes on it, which is useful, but it's not as, it's a little more cumbersome than these ones, but it gives you more options. So let's make these both about the same. Okay. Now, probably can just put this like this. It's not going to be a super steep thing, so I'm going to get the curve started like this, and then I'll probably do some of it manually, like that. Kind of give it more of a gentle curve aspect, and then I can go back and adjust it a little bit. That may be a little too much. I don't know. We'll see. You can always play with the curves a little more if we need to. I think my curve is too big still, because this is going to go through here. Well, maybe not. That's kind of how I want it to look. Okay, and that's fine, I think. So I don't have these perfect, nor do I have these perfect, but I think these two line up nicely. So I'm going to solder these two together, and then I think we'll feed it through there. We need to probably, since this comes to almost a triangular point, I'm going to file some notches wherever this is in contact with that after I figure out where it's going to land. And that'll make for this to sit down a little bit lower, hopefully, so it doesn't bump up too much. And then we can kind of fine-tune things from there. So let's, I think we'll solder this together first. Okay, there's still plenty of solder right here, so I'm going to go ahead and just use that. But I'm only going to solder the one side closed so we can flex it to slide it into that loop. Let's see how this feeds through. Squeeze it in like that. That'll look all right. Well, I think in order to get these trenches in the right spots, I was going to spread this open a little bit here. And we'll check the alignment, and then I'll make some marks for where I want those to go. Because this has got some thickness to it, I'm going to file some notches in the round wire here, and I may file a notch in that too, so that I can kind of fit it all together a little bit better. I'm marking the tops here, but I need to remember to do the filing or the notching on the bottom instead of the top, so opposite of these marks. So you could just take the 45-degree angle on your bastard file and file a notch. See how that works. You don't want to get too deep because you'll cut right through the wire. Okay, I've stuck it back through here. Now I just need to flip it upside down. Or right side up, I should say. Theoretically. Now, let's see if we can get these guys to match up a little better. I believe that's about as close as I'm going to get them right at the moment. So I'm going to solder it in place in a couple of spots. I'm going to manhandle this one a little bit. Get things in place, but so I'll probably have to go back and do some Dremel cleanup on it. Didn't mean for that to happen. I think I got that one right here. I think this was not in contact with the other wire, the top part, so I'm going to go ahead and squish it down closer after we cool this off. Yeah, this doesn't have a huge amount of contact right here. So squish it a little closer together. See what happens then. Okay, I dropped the ball. Just like you, Chad, to drop the ball. Kind of doing some shaping here. Because this goes underneath here, I'm going to have to flatten that way out so it's comfortable to wear. And so I'll do that. I also may do the top. I'm not 100% sure if I want to leave it rough like that or if I want to make it more kind of flattened out. I think I kind of want to flatten it out, but see how it looks. Put these guys together. We can solder this and this to the base there. Get that to flow along. You wouldn't have to use twisted wire here. I thought about doing some wire and then texturing it so it looked different, so it kind of stood out from the rest of the design, but I'll try this because I kind of like the way that twisted wire forms an interesting pattern when you double it on itself again. I'm just going to bend this around this a little bit. I'm going to bring these two ends together kind of in a straight way so that they meet up nicely. And we'll solder a little bit better. Okay, looks like we still got plenty of solder on here. I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup and rounding and then see what we need to do from there. Okay, so in order to make this a normal shape and size, I'm going to go do some dremeling down here to narrow that out. So I'm going to grind a lot of that away with an abrasive white polishing wheel. And then we'll see what else we have to do. So far it's turned out cool. It's just got kind of a weird shape because we kind of fed something through there. So let's see if we can get that shaped up a little better. Okay, so I ground it down and got it a little bit rounder. I think I may do it a little bit more even. And then we'll clean it up. And then one of the things I was considering doing was filing the top of it flat so it looks has a nice clean flat look to it. And so I think I'm going to do that. And then we'll pickle it and then I'll do the final polish and show you what it looks like. So. Alright, there's the little infinity ring. Still got a little polishing compound on it that I need to get out from under there, but I think it came out kind of pretty. I like it. It's a little different than other ones I've seen, so I like it because of that. Alright, well that was the infinity ring. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button. That helps me out so much. So the more likes I get, the more YouTube feeds out my videos, and the more subscribers I get. Also, check out some other videos here. I have lots of great content. I've broken 160 videos over the past little more than a year, and there's lots of different projects, rings, pendants, tutorials on some different unique tricks and things. There's content that's good for both beginners and advanced people who just are looking for some more inspiration. Make sure to ring the bell too so you get updates when I upload my videos, which is generally on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So thanks for watching. I appreciate you coming. Take care. Happy silversmithing.